my line. Thank you. Again, I'd like to call the committee of the whole. Okay. Okay. Try this one more time. I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting for August 6th, 2025, order at 6 p.m. Mordarski.
Here.
Morris.
Present.
Schufel.
Here.
Westfall.
Here.
Black.
Here.
Fields.
Here.
And Moore is here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, up to you.
Revisions and approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I have a revision.
Okay.
I would like to add number 12 under discussion, and I don't believe we're adding anything to, or to any action on this, just
Discussion.
we'd like to propose a resolution regarding the school aid budget.
Okay.
And so that would be number 12.
I'll second that.
Motion by Moore. Second by Morris to add provision.
Yes.
Okay. Morris,
Oh, yes.
Schufelt is a yes. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes,
Mr. Medarsky.
Yes.
That passes 7-0.
okay, now we have committee updates, facilities, grounds, improvement, transportation committee, Kathy.
Okay, on the facilities and grounds. We met on July 10th. On the facilities report, the board office second floor has been abated. Quote process for the tile in Holland Elementary classrooms have started. The exterior of the career center is in the process of being painted. I'm assuming that's done now. Okay. As of this date, there's been 15 to 20 tons of asphalt that have been used on the parking lots. The roofing project for Myers, Holland and West are close to completion. Have they been completed? I'm sorry?
Myers and Holland are done.
Myers and Holland are done. Okay. The improvements report meetings with, say that, what's Sash?
Saturday.
Thank you, Saxon. Construction company, are weekly as, they prepare to break ground on the bond approved athletic project. Mr. Gerard met with Barton Mallow for a walkthrough in our buildings on July 2nd and 3rd, and that went well, was the report. And then transportation, right before I call Mr. Craig up, Sean Craig, our new assistant, Mr. Gerard expressed his concern with the delay of letting students enter elementary buildings in the AM. Some buildings won't allow them in till, what was the time, 8:40 or 8:35, whatever, even if they're brought at 20 after 8, which in essence then puts the route behind, because they can't just leave the kids standing out in the cold and the rain. They have to sit on the bus till they're allowed in the building. So if these buildings would accommodate opening up when the buses come, because I would think these kids would need to get served their breakfast then anyway. So if we can look into that.
And you said that was the elementary that came.
The elementaries,
Okay.
right. Causing backups for the buses and lateness for some of our shuttles at the secondary level. The transportation handbook is in the process of being developed. And by the end of July or beginning of August, installation of the bus patrol cameras will begin. And we need to, and Jack can go into it further another time. The student walking policy needs to be addressed and adhered to. Not your student has to walk and then we get a parent upset about that, even though they're within that walking distance. And now we've got another bus pickup that may have to go outside of their route to pick up the student. So with that being said, it was a pleasure with my first meeting with Nishan. And we had a good discussion. So Nishan, if you wouldn't mind step up and discuss the bus purchasing issues.
Wait, isn't that during discussion?
Pardon me?
We can have it in the discussion as
Yeah,
well.
we
We
have
can do it now because it was brought up at your committee, but we can do it.
Oh, you want him to wait?
No,
Oh,
we
we
can
can
go
do it.
ahead
Yeah.
unless there's any objection from the board.
We'll make the discussion.
Does
part
it
of
matter if he does that now?
No, I mean,
Let me
discuss in
go
your
for
committee.
it.
Go for it.
Unless there's an objection, from somebody on the board, I don't.
All right, good. So we are coming today to ask potentially to get 5 new buses. We're looking at, we have the need of one handicap bus, full sized, because we only have one of those types of buses that holds 6 wheelchairs. So if that bus breaks down, we have nobody that can replace it. There's not enough. We would have to send 2 to 3 buses, which would mean 2 to 3 extra drivers, which would mean 2 to 3 extra monitors, which we all know we're short staffed, so we don't unfortunately have the extra staff for that. And then that would also help for the Special Olympics. That would help for the field trips special needs students go on. So that's the need for the handicap bus. The full-size buses, we currently only have 4 full-size spare buses out of 53. The state inspector, we go through state inspection every year. He said that 2 of our route buses will more than likely not pass next year. So that would leave us with only 2 spare buses. So if any bus breaks down, we wouldn't be able to cover sports. We wouldn't be able to cover if any other bus breaks down on top of that, because unfortunately we all know those bad days where it seems like everybody breaks down at the same time. Our oldest bus that we currently have in service was manufactured in 2006, and it has 219,000 miles on it. So it's on its last legs, as you can imagine. And then since the last purchase of school buses, we have had 8 buses taken out of service per the state inspector because they would not pass. And they were kind of past that point of the rot, and we live in Michigan, the salt and everything, that they said they have to be taken off the road. And once the state inspector deems it as they cannot go on the road, it cannot be transport any students whatsoever.
When was the last bus purchase?
The last bus purchase where the buses were manufactured in 2023, and we got 5 buses that year.
So how many buses were taken out from those buses that were purchased? Or were these buses purchased prior to 2023? So it's not the new buses we purchased, it's older buses?
They were new buses. They took older buses out of service, have to make the purchase so that way, they can get manufactured most of the time. They have to build them. It usually takes about 6 or so months to build and then get to you. So they were to replace other buses prior to the other 8, if that makes sense. So there were buses taken out of service, then they replaced those, and then after that, the 8 more were taken out.
So we purchased how many buses in 2023?
5.
And out of those buses, 8 other buses were taken out of commission.
Yes, after
But
that.
not the 5 we purchased.
Correct.
None of those.
Yes. Yep, they were new ones that we purchased then.
And then I believe we purchased 2 used buses last year as well to kind of get us through some of this, correct?
Yes, most of them were handicapped because we
Yeah.
ended up in a situation where we didn't have enough handicap buses. So that was the last purchase. All of those are special needs.
It was, I thought it was my understanding that there was some type of a special program right now, which is why we wanted to jump on this. Am I wrong in that, or?
So there used to be a bus purchasing program a couple years back, previous administration. We have a program that we put together that, the board can go whichever way they want to go. If we do like 5 buses a year or 3 buses a year, and it shows what the replacement schedule would look like. But that the district is on no type of purchasing program right now.
Okay, I thought
at
there
all.
was some special going on with the buses.
We do have the ones that I reached out to the dealer about, their stock units. So
Mhm.
meaning that
Okay.
they're like cars sitting on a dealership lot, if that makes sense. So we do need to jump on them quickly if we're gonna get them, so that way other districts don't.
Okay, that's probably what I'm
yes, yeah.
thinking of. And you said field trips, normally, teachers arrange their own buses for field trips. Would this alleviate that, and we'd be able to use a Taylor School bus occasionally, or?
We do most of our own field trips. I think we usually do about book 3 to 4 field trips per day.
Okay.
The problem though is right now is sports, because a lot of times sports go at like 2:30. So if all the buses are on the road and if any of those route buses need to be, have spares, then we don't have extra buses for the sports trips that are going out at the same time.
Thank you very much.
Jack, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to, the through
MSBO.
MSBO, they've already been out for bid, so it's, they've already got the 3 bids. The buses are already been bid out, so that's the pricing we got.
Yeah, because they're part of the consortium and that allows it. Yeah.
Right.
Jack, I have a question for you because I kind of remember you coming and asking about these 5 buses.
Yep.
Was that not part of the plan? Because wasn't there a plan that like,
There was a plan about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we did purchase 5 buses and then it stopped.
was this the last of those? These
That was
5?
the first of those 5 are the first of the,
I think it was the
Rotate.
first and the last of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, because
I
that,
knew that you had come and said like we were set to
Right.
get so many so often or
Right.
something.
yeah, so we did get 5 and then it stopped.
Can
Okay.
we get back on that plan again,
Yeah.
just so we know we can budget every
That's,
year?
that's what we want to work on. And it's either going to be, I mean, it's a decision that you can make. We can purchase 2 new buses a year, 3 new buses. There's different types of.
Well, depending on, well, you know your fleet, we
Right.
don't,
So
so.
what is the recommendation coming from you as far as need goes?
Well, I would say, I mean, if possible, I'd like to, I would love to get 5 new buses a year. The state, we've dealt with the state inspector and the last couple of years, he's like, your fleet's getting older and it is. And he's concerned about some of our, I think we have 4 spare Gen Ed spares. And 2 of those, he said, will come offline this year.
This year.
And that's
Yeah,
on
and
top of the 2
and
route buses too.
Well, I would like to see maybe a 10-year plan. I don't.
So
know
we have
if it
6
has to continue because you have new buses, but maybe, 5-10-year plan and this is how many.
And we
based on-
definitely can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely can do
And
that.
then we can budget for it and we know,
Right.
okay, we're spending $1 million on buses.
Right.
So you're saying we have 4 current spare buses and 6 are about to go offline?
We, 4 route buses are gonna be, I'm sorry, 2 route buses, 2 spare buses. Is what he's saying that won't pass next
Okay.
year. So that'll,
We have 2 special ed buses spares, 4 Gen Ed bus spares. 2 of each will go off.
Okay, so
And our concern is state inspection can show up September 1st. So we don't know when they're going to show up, and when they do, those buses will go off immediately.
In your purchase, you're looking at 1 special ed bus or?
Correct. One
One
of
full
our
special
large
ed bus.
Okay, and the
Yes.
rest would be Gen Ed,
Right.
regular buses.
for now, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Because we did purchase a couple used special ed buses last
Yeah,
last
to
year.
get us through the immediate need, yeah.
Yeah, are these brand new or are they used?
These are brand new.
Brand new?
Brand new.
These
They look
5 would
pretty
be
when they're
brand
riding
new?
around.
So if we were to make a motion to get this in motion, would it be that they have to bring back a 10-year plan or can they start purchasing
No, I
now?
think.
Well, I'd say-
No, I think as we move forward, but go ahead, Mike, you're the.
No, I was gonna say, I'd say that we're voting tonight would be to vote for this immediate purchase.
Right.
and then
Okay.
approve. And then I think in the future, take a resolution as a
Okay.
board saying, we approve this plan and we're sticking to it.
So
And then that way you're.
if they came
Yeah,
to us.
that's what I was gonna
later
think of too.
on
Yeah.
With a 10-year plan, then we could look it over
It
there.
would be
And
for
that's
an
just an
additional.
arbitrary number,
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
No,
so.
But I know the immediate need is we need to get these on the road now.
Yeah.
Just
And now
getting-
you've got the young lives you have to start transporting too.
Yeah, we'll be starting transporting them this year. So now we don't know if it's going to cause extra routes to be created or not. And if they do, then we're going to be down busing.
So these new buses then, are the electric, diesel, what are they?
They're diesel.
Okay,
Diesel
good.
buses, yeah.
And just so for the record, so everyone knows, what is the cost of a general ed bus and a special ed bus? What do we pay? Just so everyone kind of knows. I mean, I know it's in the record, but let's just,
Sure,
you know.
absolutely.
Yep, give me 1 second. I have it broke down. So the total is 740,000, just so you guys know,
That's for
for
all
the
5.
for the 5.
Yeah, but per bus, so just
Per
curious.
bus, yes, the regular ed ones are about 140,000 apiece.
Okay.
And then the special ed, it wasn't much more. I want to say it was about 150, 160 off the top of my head.
Well, that works. Thank you. No, people always ask, like, give me an idea. So appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll say as well, we did explore electric options because there is a lot of grant money out there right now to change your fleet to electric. But when we explored it, we realized that the infrastructure investment we would have to put in at our transportation facility currently would also be a huge cost that we couldn't incur. So that was why the decision was to stick with the diesel.
No, and I'm glad you did that because that was my concern. Because if he was bringing electric, I was going to bring up the infrastructure costs. But
Absolutely. That's
already
why
been
we
addressed, so that's
explored
good. Yep. Okay. Good. Good.
My next question is gonna be, I know that there's issues with like middle school transportation for after school activities and stuff. Buying these 5 buses, where does that put us for making sure we can get all of our students where they need to be? Easier.
I think the buses will definitely help. We're still trying to work on getting more drivers in the door, which that's a big, problem with that as
So
well.
is it
But
more so like not just the buses, but just having enough drivers
yes,
to be able to use
Yeah,
the
it's
buses?
kind of like a double whammy.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're short on
And I
buses
think-
because of the breakdown, but we also short because.
We don't have enough people to drive. Okay.
Right, and I think, because of the time that they're getting out of the, for their sports, between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, that's our prime time of taking kids home. So we are working through that, trying to get drivers specifically for those routes,
Okay.
for those sports trips.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board on this?
Okay, the finance committee. We met at 2 p.m. on the 10th of July. And the update was pretty much state and federal. I know that currently Dr. Hill is dealing with an audit. Is that correct? Yes. And the state and federal budget update is the 31A staffing will remain. Title I staffing, there's an estimate, should remain. Title II staffing, Title IV staffing, Section 41 staffing, and then on 31AA staffing and 23G staffing, the state is cutting one and no longer funding the other. However, that cost would be moved to 31A because that's allowed. No staffing moves currently until September 11th. For a teacher's grant funded position should be absorbed and allowable under 31A. Currently, the state budget resolution has not been passed and is beyond the deadline. The federal budget has been approved, but has not been released to the states. And then last thing was finance department is working on an audit. So that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Kathy in the finance committee? Okay, we'll move on to discussion items. We have the overnight conference request and MASA fall conference. Mr. Gribble.
Can I just add in just real quick?
Sure.
Before, Jason starts up, his presentation there. I do want to remind kind of how we're breaking this out now is the first one of these each month. We're going to have certain things that are up for discussion. That doesn't mean they're actually getting voted on tonight. So you'll notice on the agenda tonight, we have more discussion items than we have actually action items. So this is to allow, I know we've had a lot of feedback from the community, from board members about having more transparency in our process and that. So this is to acknowledge that. Now, as I've said, some of these things we know have to happen more timely. They can't wait for that 2-week turnaround, but where we can, we are doing our best to bring it forward the first week, discuss it, and then bring it back for the vote the second week. So I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm glad you did, because I was going to do that as well. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no,
I
I
forgot.
always got your back, Linda.
I forget. All right, let's go back to the overnight conference request. Jason?
Thank you, President Moore and the Board of Education. I'm on my behalf and also Ms. Graham's behalf here to request permission to go to the MASA Fall Conference in Traverse City, which is September 17th to the 19th. This is a conference that a lot of superintendents and superintendents attend. I know Mr. Weger is also attending, but being up to date in regards to current policies, especially know what's going on within the state and the federal government right now. This is a great opportunity for us as cabinet members and assistant superintendents to be up to date with the current specs of what's going on at the state and federal levels, along with all the different sessions that we attend. So Ms. Graham and I are looking to join Mr. Weger up at Traverse City for the MASA Fall Conference. Any questions?
I do want to clarify, because I believe when we submitted this at the time, when we were putting together the agenda, we put this under a general funded expense. We have recently heard news that the Title II, Title III, Title IV spending has been unfrozen at the federal level. So this, originally, we were talking about this being general funded, but we should now have the ability, we got to double check, but we should have the ability to move this to grant funding out of Title II. Not for mine. Mine has to remain general funded, but for Jason and Emily, that would be switched over to grant.
I have a question. I'm just kidding. Is Emily staying at a better place than you? I'm kidding.
There is a chance that she may be, because as soon as it came out when the conference was, I'm usually right on top of those types of things and try to get my rooms booked and get everything set. And Emily doesn't seem to be as punctual as I am for that, so I think she is staying in a better room than I am, but for me, I'm not there. I'm there for the conference. I just need a place for a shower and a bed. I'm good to go.
Good. I'm just giving you a hard time there, or a hard time, or whoever.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, no trouble. All right, any questions from the board? All right, let's move on to the virtual days plan for the 2025-26 school year, and that would be Mr. Wager.
Yes, thank you. So a couple of years ago, MDE started to allow that you could use up to 15 virtual days a year. And they could be used when you exhaust your Act of God days. They could be used for when you're doing state testing. They could be used for professional development. So a couple of years ago, we put this plan into place. It came into handy the first year we did it because we would have had Taylor High go over by one day that first year, but they were able to go virtual and it stopped from having to make up any days at the end. Last year when we approved this, it really saved us big time. We would have had 3 elementary schools that would have been making up lots of days had we not had this plan in place. So every year we just have to bring it back forward, get the approval from the Board of Education that we are still good with having the virtual days. It would run exactly the same as we have the last few years. And it is something that we have worked out as well as we don't actually use these with the exception of the testing days, the state testing days. We really don't use these until we are out of and we've exhausted our Act of God days for our buildings first. That always comes at that first cost because I think everybody around here knows me well. They know I love my snow day as well. So that always comes first.
Yep, okay, that answers my questions. I had questions regarding to see how it fit into the CBAs and so on.
Yep.
So you've answered my question.
And even last time around, particularly in the 26M contract, because they have very specific language regarding Act of God days, it is something that we bargained and negotiated in that process.
Okay.
So,
And you're good with this, Mr. Devlin? Yes. Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the bond contingency and change order approval. Mr. Wager.
all right, thank you. This is one of those items I was talking about that we are not taking action on tonight. This is just, I wanted it before the board for discussion purposes. As we are starting to get into the athletics work that's taking place for the bond, and as we're starting to work with Barton Mallow on reassessing our bond program entirely and seeing what we're going to do in the future, we wanted to come before the board and make sure they were still comfortable with the limits that were set when the bond program first started, particularly regarding change order approval and what we build in for our contractors in terms of contingency costs. So originally under the agreement that was put in place with a prior Board of Education and with when Plant Moran was the owner's rep, there was a process that stated that if there was change orders that were under $100,000, they could be agreed to and handled at the district level, at the administration level. When they crested and went over $100,000, that was when the board would have to give another approval. So I wanted to put that on the table to make sure that this current Board of Education is still comfortable with that. So it's up to you guys if you are. We don't necessarily need to take any action in 2 weeks, but if you do feel that we need to make that change, we would have to actually take action and change.
So if there needed to be a change, they would go to Jack and then Jack would come to you.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, he's not making the call on the money part. He'll tell me, yeah, we need to do this.
All I'm saying is, so you're going to be involved in the process, so it might will need your input to
Yes,
justify the change. I guess what I'm trying to get at. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Nobody can go over and above and say, nope, you're changing this without approval from multiple different
correct.
areas.
But my question is, can they stack the changes? Let's say we want to do $1 million in changes. 100 grand for the roof, 100 grand for that piece of wood. And then, you break it up because
Yeah.
I've seen restrictions for like land purchases before and they're like, oh, you can only buy 100 grand in land. Well, they broke it up into 10 parcels at $1 million.
Yeah.
So could they somehow break this up and stack it and get around this somehow?
They'd have to get around it from Jack first.
Well, I'm talking about the contract. I mean, they could literally break it
Yeah,
up into 10
I'm
requests.
gonna say in my limited experience over the last 2 years, being in this role, typically I haven't seen really a change order that crested 100,000. And a lot of times it was because you're right. It's we need a change order just for this small little piece, just like, let's say the roof or the flooring. And I would say even if I tallied up the change orders, they probably didn't crest $100,000 on any of our elementary schools. Yeah, exactly. We've been lucky. I know I've heard other horror stories from other places where change orders get out of control, but
That's
ours
what I
have
was getting
been-
at, yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but I haven't seen that yet in what we've dealt with.
Okay.
The other part of this, and please feel free to continue discussing, because as I said, it's up to you whether you want that to stay, remain and keep the current level. The other one is when we're building out contingency. So contingency is when a project could overrun what we originally put into it. So it's typical to have a certain percentage of the overall project set aside as an emergency just in case. The prior level set by the board was 8% contingency. I think going up to 10 is way too much. I think that puts you in a different spot. But also if you were going 5 or less, you're probably not. It's concerning that with the age we're living in, when you consider there's inflation, there's tariff
Are
issues.
you
and
comfortable with
stuff.
the 8?
Well, I would say that I am comfortable with it.
Are you
Martin
comfortable
Mallow
with
was
it?
comfortable with 8. And that
I'm
was
comfortable
their-
with it.
Yeah.
If you and Jack you're the ones that are gonna have to answer for it.
Yep.
So if the two of you are comfortable with an 8%,
So if we're comfortable with the 8% and the 100,000, then we don't have to make any
I'm good.
changes and no vote necessary. So, all right.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. The bus purchasing plan, I think we've been over that unless there are additional questions from the board. Otherwise, we'll scoot right on by it. And move on to the bids, and that would be Jack.
So over the past few weeks, we put out some RFPs for some projects that we're trying to get done. The first bid we put out was for the installation of new controllers and sensors for Hoover Middle School, 12 classrooms. We did do 12 classrooms a year ago with not knowing if we were going to remodel some other classrooms, so we didn't want to do them all. They work out well. The classrooms do have air and heat. So we put out another bid to finish up the other 12 classrooms.
So all rooms at Hoover have air and heat that work.
They will have air and heat that work, yes. Yes, I know it's been a long time coming. And we tried one classroom last year, it worked out well. So we did do 12 of them,
Okay.
not knowing, what direction we were going to go with,
Right.
with the plan to remodel. So we did get 2 bids in. One bid was from the Temperature Service Incorporated for $34,888. And then we got another bid in from Worldwide Technology or Technical Service Incorporated for $41,056.08. We recommend going with Temperature Services in the amount of $34,888, and that's to do all the other 12 classrooms that will complete them. The second bid we put out was for the purchase and the delivery of drinking fountains / bottle fillers. The state passed a law, I guess, that we now have to have filters on all drinking fountains and sinks. So we did apply for a grant. We received $250,000, and this would come out of that grant. We got one bid from Allied Building Services for the amount of $125,150.92.
And this is to install them throughout the district and
Yes,
all the
and
schools and buildings?
correct. And we did get ahead of the game. Throughout COVID, we did start changing them over to bottle filters.
And
The rest of the money, I believe, we can use on purchasing filters.
And I take it the filter out the lab, correct?
They do. Yeah,
That's
anything.
probably the main thing there.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, it would filter out anything we need there.
Given the age of our buildings, I think that is a.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yes.
Is there a reason for only the one bid?
That's the only one that came in.
Okay.
We put it out RFP and we only received one.
Construction stuff right now, so I understand.
What's that? I heard Liberty.
Liberty didn't put one in?
No, we told them about it and they never put a bid in. It was just Allied.
Wow.
Actually, the first time we didn't get any bids. So we had to put it back out again. I think a lot of them were overwhelmed because the whole state's doing it,
Yeah,
you know.
I can
so,
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. The third bid is for the removal and installation of a new boiler, expansion tank and compressor at Clarence Randall. We received 4 bids. Mechanical System Services, it was $39,995. Detroit Boiler Company was $48,192. AC Building Systems was $42,500 and Temperature Service Incorporated with $39,248. So we recommend going with Temperature Service Incorporated in the amount of $39,248. The last bid we put out was for tires and tire support at the transportation. We did receive 2 bids. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company was $118,336.84. And the second bid was Best Drive LLC for $96,598. We recommend going with Best Drive. They're local, in the amount of $96,598.
Is this something you do every year?
We do every year.
Okay.
Yes. We went with
It's
good.
just in case it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone with Goodyear the last couple of years, but Best Drive is they're local and they finally put a bid in. So
So
I
that
haven't-
brings up a question I had about, buses towing. When a bus breaks down, do we have a towing vendor? Because somebody said the school district has a towing vendor. I didn't think we did.
we don't. We have a tow truck
Yeah.
that's 35 years old.
Nice.
It's on its last leg.
Okay.
But we have babied it along, but no, we tow our own vehicles right now. There may be times where we'll have to call a company if if our truck won't pull it. But right now we do our own.
Thank you, because I thought we did, and that somehow came up that we had a towing vendor. I'm like,
No.
we've never voted on a towing vendor.
Nope,
We never
no,
have.
we don't.
Didn't think
As
so.
of right now, we don't. We do not.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to, Pat's got several things here, the medical assistant contract renewals, security guard contract renewals, request to hire an administrative assistant, and an employee termination. So I'll let you start, Pat.
Okay, so we'll start with medical assistance. I'm just asking the board to approve the medical assistance for, oh,
Thank you.
sound better?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm asking the board to approve the medical assistance contracts this evening. We have 3 medical assistants and I think pretty much all of them have been here since I've been here. And basically what they do is they work with the real diabetics and children who have some special needs. And they make sure that they have the services that they need. They're actually all 3 wonderful people and they are committed to the needs of the children in Taylor. The next is the security guards. We have 6 security guards on the agenda tonight for approval. I'm asking the board to approve them. They do a variety of functions, mainly making sure that there's peace and calm in the building and helping Michelle whenever that is necessary in terms of fights and things of that nature. And there again, those individuals have been, I think one's been here for 20-something years and at least one might have been here for 4 or 5 years. So, so that they know the lay of the land, they know how, kind of everything works and, they do a great job.
I do have a question on the security.
Sure.
I read the contracts.
Mhm.
We have one that's 12 months.
Mhm.
So if we approve this and any increase, will that person get it retro as of July 1?
I would assume so if it says July 1, because that's.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, that is the
Well,
practice.
it's fair.
That is what we do
That's-
with our union employees.
Yes.
We would go retro, so I think.
Well, they're not unions, that's why I'm
I
asking.
understand, but I think the practice should be the same.
Okay, just as
Absolutely.
long that it would be retro, that
Right.
would be my concern. Okay, thank you.
And actually, that's a good question, so. I'll make more. And then the last is to request to hire Cherry Chiswick. She is currently in the payroll department for Taylor Schools. She has been with the Taylor School District for, I want to say like 28-ish years. And she's been in payroll, insurance, a variety of different buildings. And I'm asking for the board to approve her to be the number 3. I think she'll bring a lot of value added and history, and I think that that's rather important when you're going to those jobs. So hopefully you'll vote on all of them.
I have a
Any
quick
questions?
question. These are all previous or current employees, correct? Or ones that,
Correct. Yes.
and so all of them have great, on the job, like no issues, disciplinary or otherwise.
Not to my knowledge, and Michelle and I work closely with the security guards and the medical assistants. You never hear, I mean, the only time I see them really and hear anything about them was when I call them, ask them to come and fill out sign their contract. So that's a good sign.
Well, I know the history. If Michelle was having an issue with them, you wouldn't see them anymore.
Well, this is true. That is true. And Ms. Chiswick doesn't have anything in her file either.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And the last thing I'm asking the board to approve is the resolution for termination for the employee stated on the document. And just to give a little history, the individual has had some concerns over the years, was put on a last chance agreement, and then there was some other issues. So between the union and myself, we said, okay, we'll do an amendment to that and give the person like really one more last chance. And unfortunately, the individual, I guess, doesn't get it. You know, what needs to be done on your job, reporting to work and things of that nature. And so when I brought the person in, I just said, we can't continue like this. And so I'm asking for the board to approve the resolution for termination.
How many years have they worked here?
I want to say maybe 6 or 7.
Not even that.
But it's been a continuous issue here, like a different, sometimes people will just move to move, because then once they start realizing, and I'm not saying that this happens to this individual, but like they go and they take a bid on a job and then they're like, oh, this isn't gonna be working out very good. So next year I'm gonna bid on another job. So they're like, the history doesn't follow. And the person has been in a place where people can observe better the individual and comings and goings and things of that nature. And on this on the amended last chance agreement, it clearly states in there that it can be any disciplinary action is grounds for dismissal.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any questions? All right, we'll move forward to the agent of record, Mr. Devlin.
Good evening. My name is Terry Devlin, President of the Taylor Federation of Teachers. I'm here tonight to talk on behalf of the Taylor School District Healthcare Committee. For those of you who don't know, we've got each one of our bargaining units has a leadership team that comes to the meetings. So all of the bargaining units are represented. Dr. Hill occasionally comes, especially when we're talking about finances, and we do a variety of things. Mostly we're spend a lot of time on managing the costs of our healthcare. And so that's kind of the purpose of asking for a change in the agent. We're looking to have an agent who we believe will be more aggressive in fighting for the costs that our employees and their families have to pay for. Our current agent of record, their employee that represents them for Taylor has moved on. So we figured this is a good opportunity for us to bring in someone who has proven track record, who has proven in the past to negotiate costs that are not reasonable, more reasonable for our members. Actually, for all the employees, this is for all employees in the district. So that's what we're asking for. We're asking for a change in the agent, and that's just the person who is going to go out and negotiate on our behalf the costs of all of our healthcare, our health, our vision, our dental, and any additional add-on services like Guardian, which is employee costs, if they want to add on to their life insurance or things like that. And that's.
Your committee voted on it?
Yes, thank you, Kathy. Armis Field, yes, the committee did vote on it. All 4 of the bargaining units are in agreement. And we're looking forward to having this done quickly so that our bids, our open enrollment is coming up, but our bids are being sent out. So we know that it's kind of in the middle of what but it seems like it could be a rush situation, but I've had good conversations with the potential new agent, and they're very comfortable that they're going to be able to gather the rates from HAP. That's the one we're concerned about mostly. Yes, the bids haven't been provided to either Gallagher or the potential new agent yet, as far as I know. So we're very close, and we would like the new agent to be able to get in and start doing some serious negotiating on our behalf, which has been not up to par in the TFT's opinion. We believe that there was more work that could have been done for our members and for all employees in the district.
Now you don't have a plan in place for coming January 1, correct? Or is that what, or do you have one for January 1 and have some time? Or are you looking August, September, October?
We're going to be pulling together all of the January 1st stuff. By September 11th, will be our next healthcare committee meeting, and she will be prepared, or that K&M agent will be ready to present everything.
So you're looking for rates for a plan starting 26?
Yes.
For January
Yep. That's exactly what we're
26.
looking for.
I was just
Yeah,
curious.
we've had some numbers come around that are concerning for us, and we really want to have what other districts are getting. How's that? You know, we know that there are some districts who are in excess of 10% increases. And so we really want to make sure that we have a representative who's out there with our best interest in mind, and that's our employees.
That was my question too. Did you get any rough guesses, now holding you to it, what kind of percentage increases they're planning? Because you mentioned 10. I'm curious what they were thinking.
So
they could do.
statewide, I've heard that the increases are anywhere from 12 to 17%. I did talk to Hamtramck, and I believe they were at 12%. Dearborn saw a very, very high raise, and this agent was able to save the district and their employees a significant amount of money. So we're hoping for the same type of action. I don't know. It's never can be the same because it's based on your experience.
Sure.
But statewide, it's ugly. The healthcare costs are ugly everywhere. So
Yeah,
Understood.
and in the past, they've always come in at, higher rates, and we've been able to, and with the healthcare committee and the agent, been able to talk those down and get them down to something rather than 19%, say 7%. So it's a successful,
It has been successful.
it's a successful way of handling healthcare, Taylor.
Yeah, and I'll say, I did spend 2 years working for Dearborn Public Schools, who has this particular agent of record, and they were very responsive. They were very in tune with what the employees, what their staff members' needs were. And I'd say, again, most people there were very happy with the results they were getting for their insurance there.
Yeah. Well, if they want this agent, let's do it. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we'll move on to revisions, updates, so on, Mr. Wager.
So we brought forward a package of items that Neola had recommended changes for at one of our previous meetings, our July meeting, and we pulled back on the food service one so that we could have a review by our food service director, Ms. Trombetta. And so we have those changes now that she has recommended. And so we're bringing that back for the first reading. So I'll kind of talk through what she had responded to us with on here. One of her concerns regarded making sure that we were still having in the policy to cover the USDA Smart Snack guidelines for items that are not just in the kitchens, but beyond. Like, we still have to follow this policy. If it's our vending machines, if it's items being sold for fundraisers, those kind of things, we still have those items that we have to follow. So she wanted to make sure that language stayed intact. She made a recommendation that we do not necessarily need a grievance procedure for meal substitutes in our policy, because per FDE's guidelines for food, that you have to accommodate that student anyway. So there's really not a necessity for that grievance procedure when you're still going to be providing some sort of meal for the student. Another one she said she didn't really feel needed to be addressed had to do with student absence. And that is because we do have procedures currently in place to make sure that students are getting that food and that they are accommodating if they're coming in late, that we are taking care of our students. So one of the last big ones, and I know this is the one I'm crossing the fingers, we never have to cross this, because as of right now, we are still under the program that every student is covered under the free lunch program through the state of Michigan. But if something were to happen and we were to lose that funding and the state pulled back or the federal government pulled back on the grants that go to these programs, there's language in our policy regarding if a student had to charge a meal. Again, hoping we never have to worry about this. But what Jen's concern was, and she wanted to make sure it was out there, and I totally agree with her, was that she wanted to make sure that we were giving that student the same meal as others and not an alternate meal if they are having to be in that spot of charging. And what this comes down to is we do have it in our policy and we do have it in other food service policies that you don't want to create a situation where you're singling out a student. You don't want to create a situation where you're having a negative impact on how others may view that student. And that is why she's making the argument that the policy and the practice that she's always had is to give them the same meal. They would get charged. We would handle it on the back end, but not to single out with some sort of alternate meal. So we did change language in there to match that, because that was one of the options that was out there. Those were the biggest ones in there. There is the only other part, but when I read it, regards the non-discrimination statement that is in the food service policy only, not our overall non-discrimination statement. It is whether it makes and matches what the USDA requires. When I read through the policy, I see that in the first paragraph, it does clearly state that in accordance with federal civil rights law and U.S. Department of Agricultural civil rights regulations and policies, this institution is prohibited from discriminating. Then it goes through the list of that. To me, that already covers and says that we are going to follow what USDA practices. I don't feel we have to change the language part of that, but it is in there to say that we are following what USDA says. But we're going to get one last opinion from Neola just to make sure that I am reading that correctly. And if that is, I'll pull this one back off again. But if not, we'll consider this the first reading. And then we would have a second reading with all those other policies we brought forward to be at the next board meeting.
Any questions?
Yeah, so if they ever do go back to charging, which I hope they don't.
Yeah.
You mentioned the back end, so the kids wouldn't pay at the time where they have like a swipe card. How would that work?
No, typically, so even now when you're going through the free and reduced lunch, they're entering in their student numbers, and that keeps track of, for accounting purposes, what they've used with that. Because if a kid came up for a second meal, you want that accounted for too, because they don't get a second meal on what's covered out of the grant money. So currently there is that process of they enter the student numbers and it tracks that. So essentially what would happen is you would enter that student numbers, then the cashier would know right away. It would come up in their system as, oh, they're not covered under the program. They need to be charged. How much money would they have to pay? And if they didn't have it, then it would go onto their balance. And
then how would the parents, in theory, service the balance? Would they get like a bill? Would they have to like?
That's always the tricky part.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
Then we get into to having to collect, and trust me, as my time as a building administrator, that was something back in the day that we used to have to do, and it would be calling parents and telling them you have a balance on the account and all those.
The parents can see it on the Parent Connect too, like if there's a balance. So you can go on there and pay it that way, or you can add money to the child's account. So in the event that they need to pay for something, they have it in the account.
Okay, I think the main thing is it used to be 100 years ago, if a child didn't have the money, parents didn't want it on an account, they were given just a cheese sandwich. And I think that's what Jennifer's referring to, that they should not be singled out by getting a cheese sandwich.
Alternative meal, they call it, yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to continue feeding the kids.
Yep.
No charge.
Well, that's perfect. Timing for the last thing I asked you guys.
There you go.
For the agenda. So I wanted to bring forward, I know I mentioned this in my superintendent's report last month, but the fact of the matter is we are still sitting here. Now we're into August. And by July 1st, by statute, the legislature in Lansing was supposed to produce a school aid budget that should have been approved through the governor. And we are still sitting here without that at this point. So I wanted to bring up for discussion tonight, and we would actually take action next week, that we have a resolution in place imploring our legislators, imploring the governor's office, imploring basically our representatives in Lansing to get this moving and to make sure that not just get the funding moving and get the budget passed, because my God, we've already had to pass our budget legally by July 1st, and we did our part. But we did that on many assumptions that we have no idea if those assumptions are correct. So we really need them to do that part of it. But the other piece is to implore them as well that what happens for schools should not be tied to road funding or other items in the state. Like, it's too important. The education of students is too important to tie it to all these other items. And that's why, regardless of they're still fighting about roads, regardless if they're doing those pieces, they need to step forward and pass the school aid budget at a minimum. So I have a resolution I passed out. Like I said, I'm not necessarily going to read it line by line tonight. We would do that when we take the vote next week, but you have it for your consideration, and then we can bring it back up as an action item at the next meeting.
Any questions? Okay, then we will move on to public comment. Is there anyone wishing to address the board on any of the items that were open for discussion? Anybody online? Nope. Okay, we will move on to action items.
Okay. Action items, number 1, controllers and sensors, policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt a resolution accepting and authorizing the award of contract for installation of 12 controllers and sensors for Hoover Middle School in the amount of $34,888 to Temperature Services. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yeah.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 2 is the 2025-2026 virtual day plan. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Taylor School District virtual learning plan. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Block. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yeah.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 7-0. Number 3 is the purchase of buses, policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the request for the purchase of 4 77-passenger school bus and 1 full-sized handicap bus from Midwest Transit Equipment in the amount of $739,501. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yeah.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 4 is the drinking bottle filling station, policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt the resolution accepting and authorizing the award of contract for the purchase and delivery of drinking bottle filling stations for the Taylor School District in the amount of $125,150.92 to Allied Building Service. Is there a motion?
No.
Motion by Mr. Westfall. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Morris. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 5 is the boiler expansion tank and compressor, policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt the resolution accepting and authorizing the award of Contract for removal and installation of a boiler, expansion tank and compressor for Randall Elementary School in the amount of $39,248 to Temperature Services. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Morris. Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky.
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Black.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 6 is the tires and tire support policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt the resolution accepting and authorizing the award of contract to tires and tire support for the Taylor School District in the amount of $96,598 to Best Drive. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Second.
Support, second by Mr. Medarsky. Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 7 is the medical assistant agreements, policy 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following 3 medical assistant agreements for the 2025-2026 school year for Mary Garrison, Brandy Freeborn, and Mary O'Brien. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris,
Support.
support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 8 is the security guard agreement, policy number 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following 6 security guard agreements for the 2025-2026 school year. John Edwards, John Gearback, Leon Hamilton. Is it Nas? Nas O'Neill, Herman Ramick, and Randall Skudnick? Scootnick.
I wouldn't have gotten.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 9 is request to hire administrative assistant, HRLR number 3, policy number 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the hiring of Terry Chisnick for the position administrative assistant, HRLR number 3. Salary for the position will be $61,312.68 prorated. Ms. Chisnick, start date will be as soon as practical. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Westfall. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 7-0. Number 10, employee termination. Pat, do I say? Pardon, can I say the name? It's in there.
I would just
She's
put as,
asking about the name.
yeah,
No, I think
I would
we've
just
had
say
it in
as
the
cited
past.
in the resolution.
You said it 10 times.
Yeah, I think we've read the name in the past.
We have.
At the
Yeah.
point, the agenda's been posted publicly.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so
Okay.
it doesn't really matter.
I just wanted to make sure.
I
It is
believe
rec-
John Kava had said in the past, we've had to read the name as part of the resolution.
Okay. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution terminating Sierra Sidolgo. Is that how you say it?
Said like, oh,
Employment with the district effective July 31st, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Black,
yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes, Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 11 is the agent of record. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the changes of insurance agent of record from Gallagher Bassett to K&M Accounting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore,
Support.
support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes, Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. On to Mr. Wager.
Thank you. Agenda administrator, well, how about the superintendent?
Yeah,
report?
yeah, we'll hop in there. Give me just a second. So, all right, a couple things I wanted to update about, and I know I kind of mentioned, it was during one of the discussion points tonight. The good news is we did receive word that the Title II, Title III, and Title IV funding is being freed up. We had lots of concerns of what that was going to do with some of our programming. Thankfully, financially, we're in a state that we could have protected and kept our programming as is to make it through the next school year. But that would have been an issue for the following school year on changes that we would have had to make to what we can provide as supports to our students. So thankfully, we're sitting in a spot where we are guaranteed a lot better footing for at least this school year. I'm not gonna say we're out of the woods. I'm not gonna say that it's not gonna change because the climate of everything is constantly changing. So I can at least just say we're good for now, but there might be decisions we'd have to make in the future to alter some of our programming if we see that the plan is in future school years to cut back on those grants and those items that we get from the federal government and from the state. So I want to say that it's good news for the moment, but let's just say that there is the chance we're still looking at something more difficult as we go forward. So, but we'll enjoy it while we can. The other things I want to kind of give an update is the athletics. So we kind of talked about this a little bit. It came up a little bit in the facilities report. And I know last week you said I stepped on, or last month you said I stepped on the facilities committee report. I'm trying not to do that always, but I think some of what I have is just a follow-up of things you heard there as well. I do want to say that at our last meeting with SACSI and the collaborative, they said that we have finally gotten the final clearance from the state of Michigan on the permitting process. So all hurdles have been cleared. We should be go to start there. The bids for the contractors are out and live right now for us to get that general contractor on board. On Monday, they had a walkthrough of the site where they invited anybody who was looking to put in a bid. And I was very excited that 25 different companies came out to look at it. I was worried that considering the turnaround time that we're going to start work pretty immediately once this contractor's in place, that might stop some people from coming out. But 25 was, I think, even a better number than when we were looking for bids for the elementary schools a couple of years ago. So that was really good news. The bids will be opened and we'll start considering them on August 14th. And then we would have a recommended contractor to bring before the board on September 3rd. So that way we can, once that contractor is approved, we can fully get going and get that process started. I know Ms. Fields, you had brought up at the last meeting as well, saying, hey, we definitely have to have a groundbreaking. We need to get out there and put out some of that good press about what we're about to provide for our students athletically. So that plan is well underway. Do know we'll be announcing soon. We will have materials coming out soon for when that groundbreaking is going to take place. And very thankful to Barton Mallow, who is our owner's rep, as they are providing us a lot of extra services to help assist with putting out that PR for when we do that event. So
I was totally impressed with that company.
oh yeah,
What
absolutely.
was that, Kathy?
I was impressed.
She doesn't want to put that on
I was
record.
impressed with them at the walkthroughs of the assessments, and then like I say, I was really impressed because obviously communication and PR being my part of the end of this, and was like, oh wow, this is definitely a support that I've had like this, and it was a really good meeting we had with them. So watch soon as we're going to start putting out information and advertisement for that event. I wanted to bring, as I said, every meeting, I'm going to start talking about where we're at in terms of moving progress on the strategic plan. Well, obviously, it's only been 2 weeks since the last meeting, so not everything that we have is moved along a little further, but there are a few things that in the last 2 weeks, we've been able to move that ball a little further down the field. One of them being, we had the goal that was that we were going to look at offering more diverse electives and AP classes. I know I had updated the board saying that we were going to be putting out a survey. Well, that survey is created. Now it's just sitting and waiting till we have students return to put that in their hands and start getting that. So we will say that basically once the school year starts, about October, we'll start reviewing what results we get from the students. And then we'll have an idea of what new curriculum pieces, what new things need to go before our committees to get approved and meet what the students are looking for. One of the other areas that we have made progress in significantly, we're going to be putting out a survey to the community, to all our stakeholders to find out what they would like to see from us from the communication end. I have taken the time, I've put that survey together. We've had the final review on it. It's ready to go. I've just been waiting for our principals to be back in the building so that they can help me by sending that out to their groups as well, so that we can get as much feedback as we can. So once principals are back, we'll head on to the next step and get that survey to parents.
To be better at communication with residents as a whole that vote but don't have children in our.
So I had this conversation with Martin Mello. It was not about this particularly part of the survey, but as we talked about it, they are going to assist us in taking that next step, because they're like, yeah, absolutely, you need to get physical flyers in people's hands, because that's the voting public and that's who you need to get it to. So working with them, I'm hoping we can translate that into our internal communications as well, and use that as a support. But yeah, I think that's coming along as well.
Yeah, knowing that next year we have the non-homestead, I think we need to.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Yes.
start.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put something on
Tooting
the
our
ballot
horn.
to keep our
Yeah,
peace,
yeah,
so
exactly.
I would agree.
Get to toot our horn.
This one really makes my day. We've had, one of the goals was to update the employee handbook. And as I say, and we get the giggle because, as many know, there hasn't been an employee handbook.
I get the
So,
giggles
yeah.
because I want to see if it's implemented as our policy
Yeah.
and as our whatever else is going on.
Yeah,
out
well,
there.
first step is we have to have one, you know, so I will say over the last couple of years, there's been a draft. We just completed reviewing, we just finalized that draft. I sent that draft out to our union leadership this week for them to review and give feedback on what it's in there, and as well, and how we can update and make it as best as possible for our employees. So it does make me happy that we have it to that step and we're moving it along, so.
Well,
huge,
plus
huge
they can
step.
check and make sure it's not violating any sections in their contract.
Right.
Correct. That's exactly what I wanted in their hands. I even added, because I don't think in the original draft, when I first became interim superintendent, it didn't list their contracts, but I even put links to the CBAs in there, because I think that's a valuable resource that our employees should be able to access right away as well. And I think the last one I have that's really, no, two more that we moved along in the last couple of weeks are our district website and communication tools. We have been slowly fixing the pages, and I think we're almost to that point that we're just going to do that final review to make sure that everything is working and looking good there. And that will put us already to the end of the Q3 goals for updating the website.
With respect to the link, one thing you want to know
Yeah,
is when you normally click on the agenda to download.
Yeah.
You get a little dancing pickle that says, no, it's not there. But then you find it a different way. So you have one good link to the agenda.
so I'm gonna
Then you have a
ask-
blind link. So yeah.
Yeah, Sean and Becky, is that a board docs piece? The agenda, is that through the board docs section? Okay,
Yeah. So she knows what I'm talking about. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
well, I was
Dancing
also wondering if
pickle.
it's
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
board docs, because board docs has been very funny with us this week and not working for us either, so, yeah, I hear you. What's that? Okay,
No, you can still get to it, but then people tell me they go through the old link And it looks like it's a legit link, then the little pickle dances around and says you're in a pickle. And then they sent me the link and it doesn't. So it can be confusing to the public.
Yeah.
Now I found it, but the public, it was very confusing too, I feel.
Yeah. So, and the last piece we moved along on the strategic plan is, we had a part in there as well, a goal that we are going to move as much of our onboarding process to an online format. We sent out email this week to put together a committee that involves our union leadership, involves the employees who are involved with onboarding our new staff. And that group is going to meet in September and start to research and look into what platforms are out there to help make that a more efficient and easier process. So again, we're moving the ball as best we can on all these things. I said it from the jump when we were first doing those input sessions with MASB that I did not want to see. I've been here in Taylor Schools when we built these strategic plans and nothing moved and they sat on a shelf collecting dust. I did not want this to be that, and that's why we're doing our best to push and move the ball forward on these initiatives.
And I appreciate that as well, because, you know, like you said, in the past, they've sat on the shelf, and I appreciate you bringing it here every week, just kind of keep us all focused on your goals. So thank you.
All right, last thing I have, I want to do also, and this ties in with some of the things we've talked about tonight, but update on the bond. So Barton Mallow, when we've been meeting with them, they are finishing their assessments. They're putting together their report based on their walkthroughs that they took with Jack and based on the input session they had here. And they are planning to be able to come to the board and present their findings in September. So we were aiming for September 3rd, being when they are going to be here and go over what they feel our needs are for our facilities. Once we get to that point, then we are going to be entering into planning and design based on the feedback they give and the input the board gives them as a direction. Then we can appropriately start the design and planning process for the high school, for other buildings, for other needs, whatever the board has as their will, we'll be able to start doing that once we have that report. So that's kind of where it stands on the overall, the bigger picture of this. One of the things, and I said, I met with them in terms of planning for this groundbreaking ceremony and talking to them about communication. And one of the things they also talked about was, well, we're doing all the bond work. We will also work with you to put up a new bond webpage, which I know that has been something that has been expressed by the public and by members of this board. So that's going to be a huge help to us. They will get us materials to put on there. They will also assist us in anything bond related, making sure we're getting out there for social media, the website, and then, as I said, the physical mailers, because they agreed. They were like, you're missing a lot of your public, that voting public, if you're not getting the physical things in people's hands. So I was very excited, very happy with the meeting I had with them. And we've said it for years, communication needed to be better coming out of, you know, the administration, and that is our goal. And that is where I'm hoping we'll be there with the assistance of Barton Mallow when it comes to bond, but in using these other platforms.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
Any questions for Mike? We'll move on to the consent agenda.
President Moore,
consent-
can I ask a question? I don't.
Oh, go
mean to
ahead. I'm sorry.
Overstep my boundaries, but were you guys going to vote on the resolution for the school aid budget?
For the what?
Oh,
School
we'll
aid
be doing that
budget,
next
Number
meeting.
12.
2 weeks.
Not now.
Number 12.
Yeah.
Isn't it 2 weeks? On the
Oh,
20th.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 20th.
Just for discussion. tonight.
Okay,
Wasn't there one thing on here that, oh, I was thinking about it. Never mind.
No, I think that was the big one. that we had
Okay,
to get on.
okay. No, I thought there was something
Moving
else.
on
Go
to the
ahead.
consent agenda, policy number 0166.1 and policy number 6470. Minutes from the regular board meeting of July 16th, 2025, consolidated items, payments of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky,
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel is a yes. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Black,
yes.
Ms. Fields. Yes. That passes 7-0.
Okay, item scheduled for the next agenda. Good news. You know, we have resolution and so on. Do we have anyone wishing to address the board with regards to anything that we've discussed or anything?
Yeah, the discussion.
Yeah, that's right. Any discussion, any questions? Anyone online, Becky? Go ahead, let's do Courtney first.
Courtney Prout, 9846 Catherine Taylor. I just had a quick question.
My speech.
Oh,
Oh,
here you go.
So
Go for it.
give me 20 minutes here. And I'll get it done. Welcome everyone to the Taylor School District regularly scheduled board meeting of August 6th, 2025, where our mission statement is to educate with purpose, engage with passion, empower the future, and our vision statement is that we will create a welcoming and innovative learning environment that nurtures the whole child, empowering every student to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Thank you all for all who came to be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. After the in-person comment, our online audience will need to find the raise hand symbol for a moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy, refrain from any personal attacks, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping so that each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity. We will now open the floor for general public comment. The same guidelines as the guidelines are there. We will begin with in person. Brittany, go ahead. Thank you.
No problem. I just had a question regarding the strategic plan. I know that, Mike, you said that you were updating the website. Do
Yeah.
you have a plan schedule and when you're updating that? Is it just as? Because the last update I see online is 7:15, so I just wanted to know
Yeah, actually, we just put one up in the last couple of days. I think it was an 8.5 one, and it has kind of moved along. The ones I talked about tonight, I'll say have moved along a little more, but it should have went up on 8.5. If not, we'll make sure it's there. But roughly, I know I'm giving the update every 2 weeks here, verbally and publicly. I'm trying to coincide that we're putting that update as well right before I have my updates here.
okay. And then I don't see that one. So do you have any update? I just was asking if you had any update on the screener tool. I know that was in progress last time.
That
You know
we
what's
haven't
on it?
moved anywhere on that one in the last 2 weeks. So that's why I didn't mention it today, because
Okay.
it hasn't moved from there yet.
And then my final question was for I seen on the Taylor, the communication, your piece on there, we talked
Yeah.
about the No Place for Hate
Yeah.
program. Is that part of that screener tool or is that something completely
No,
separate?
actually, that is through the Anti-Defamation League. So they have a program that is student driven and students make the decisions on what goes into that program.
Mhm.
The requirements to be under their designation as a no place for hate school or school district is they have to do 3 essential activities to combat things that they would think could be considered hateful or those things. So a lot of what we looked at are things we've already been doing as a school district. Like we already do things around anti-bullying for Unity Week. We already do things for inclusion when it comes to Special Olympics. And then we were going to add an event in there about kindness. And so those were kind of going to be the 3 focuses that we would go
Yeah,
through
I did read that. Is that something that we're as a district, are you guys getting funding for that? Or is
No.
it just something that's just an additional?
No, it's just you participate in the program and then they give you that designation. There's no other requirements. There's no curriculum. There's no other pieces that we gain from them.
Okay.
So.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
absolutely.
Thank you. Anyone else in person? Anyone online? No? Okay, then we'll move on to the general board comments. I have questions for you for Jack. Can I see your face?
It's gonna be like, man, I should have left after my presentation.
Yeah, you should have. I keep watching you. I was gonna ask you to stay, like questions, or I could have emailed her or called you. The playground, or I'm sorry, first the parking lot at Moody. I
Yes.
hear that or what, are we doing that? Cause I hear it's been done very poorly.
Well, yeah, we've patched it. There's no plans right now to put it out to be completely redone.
This has been ongoing for years and years and years.
Oh, yeah,
It's a little bit tiresome when, and I'm not tiresome for you.
No,
I
no,
know-
no.
I know you know we're wrong. When people are getting flat tires and it's $200-300 to replace a tire. And, you know, while we're paying them better, we don't pay our staff enough.
No,
to
absolutely.
replace
And we
tires.
do,
There could be days.
we do sweep the parking lots often. But yeah, that's something that I know about 3 years ago, we put it out for bid. It was $150,000-$200,000 and we were told we got to patch it.
It needs to be fixed, and that's just the
I-
bottom line.
Not just Moody either, like.
No, no, no. And
Not
Moody,
just Moody
Moody
either. The
is
high
our-
school's
Or-
bad.
Moody is
and-
our best parking lot.
Yeah. Okay, it is our best parking lot right now. I drive through West just when I'm in the
Yeah,
neighborhood, because that's where I
yeah.
live in the neighborhood. And doesn't appear to be too bad just on the drive. There were some areas, but Moody, again, the fire caused the problem. People are getting flat tires too frequently. They're expensive, so I would like to see at some point, what can we do to get that fixed once and for all?
Yeah.
And then let's move on to other buildings.
No,
Jack and
absolutely.
I brought this up with Bart Mallow at our
Yeah.
last meeting and said that, you know, when they give us our assessment, they're looking at those things too. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And they may make the recommendation that some of that has to be.
So
Put it up at our next building.
Yeah, and I have one more thing, too.
Advertise.
Yeah, it just needs, it's been too long.
They all need to be done because it doesn't just fall under the flat tires or the issue of that cost, but it's a safety concern.
Yes, it is.
I know I've watched many people fall in these holes. You know, we're breaking ankles. There's a lot of different concerns
So I
for
kind of look at this.
all of our parking lots, and when they are done, they're always not done efficiently.
Yeah.
Because it
There's
shouldn't
not
have to
much
be.
Money that's
Yeah.
given the
Yeah.
department.
So I kind of look at this as, you know, we've built in the strategic plan an operations section. And it is about improving the grounds of our buildings is one of the things it says in there. We started with roofs, but that's probably the next thing we have to add as we go into year 2 and as we finish up the roofs, because we're moving faster on the roofs than I think we had thought. So I agree with you. I think that's something we can.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the Michigan weather, because we all know
Oh,
the
yeah.
freeze
Yep,
thaw.
yep.
You know, it's the hot patch, the cold patch. It's just a temporary thing.
Right.
That's all it is.
Well,
It's not something that,
Yeah, and with
You
the asphalt, don't you have to get that recovered or something every so often?
Yeah.
So that needs to be on a schedule as well.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
And salt.
That it needs to be.
And salt.
Salt, yeah,
Don't
salt.
forget salt, Michigan, salt.
Yep.
Or is there something better? I don't know. That's not my
No.
department. I
Yeah.
just know that.
I do
Moody's
know-
parking lot Was supposed to be fixed and it looks pretty shabby.
Yep.
And the
Well,
second thing,
yep.
yeah,
Go ahead.
oh,
No,
I know.
no.
I just wanted to know where it was going from here,
Sure.
if there was a plan to, in the works already to resurface the whole thing. But as you're saying, at this point, no.
There's not.
Okay.
There's not, but
Okay,
that's
well-
definitely something that we could do.
Yeah, he'll bring it up then.
Yep.
The second thing I had is, at Moody, the playground looks like shit too, sorry, excuse my language. If there's also a spot there. It's all muddy where the Pohai kids are supposed to, or all dirt, where the Pohai kids are. supposed to-
Yeah.
We need to do something.
And I
with that
thought there was
playground before the
supposed
kids
to
come.
be, I thought the plan was there was supposed to be, also be installed a concrete walkway.
It's not there.
Right, and
Okay.
that, I will reach out to the contractor
Okay.
that did do the
Yeah, because I
play.
remember this coming up and we were trying to make sure
Exactly.
that everything met the accommodated needs of our.
Yeah, because we put the
program.
pour and play in, and my comment was, well, I mean, you're gonna have to push them through mud to get there, so why don't we have a walkway?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it definitely.
Well, because it went
needs-
back
that's
and forth
something
between
for
like
kids
the
to-
rubber stuff versus the mulch versus.
Right.
So we were
Yes.
like, that doesn't serve any
Right,
needs.
so we went to the
for
pour and
Mohawk.
play.
Part of it is the rubber stuff and part of it is the mulch. It's, the playground looks horrible because it is, part of it's the rubber stuff and then you've got this mulch that isn't everywhere. Just looks bad.
Right.
It's not very welcoming at all. And then again, making sure we have access for all of our kids, so.
Right.
You can find out that and we can get that taken care of before school
Absolutely.
starts, that'd be fabulous.
On a good note, we do have 3 of the fences up. They are up. Randall and McDowell will be going up within the next week. They'll be
Did you
starting
get
up.
the, Playground equipment moved from Heights to
Yes,
Randall.
we have to put that out for bid because it's over the $30,000 threshold. That's going out for bid, yes.
Because we need, I'd like to see that done before school starts.
It won't happen. It won't happen before school starts. There's absolutely no way. They're so busy. When we decided to do it, they would put us on a schedule and it was in October before they would get to us.
So what did you ask, Kathy? I'm sorry.
About getting the equipment moved from.
Very good.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big project. That's a big.
The fences look good though. I saw them. The fences
They are.
look good.
Yep,
They
they're
look
going up.
nice.
Yep, they're going up.
And I was saying, it
Look
must
nice.
be a trend because I walked by my God, I can't believe I'm saying it now. My son's former elementary school, he's going to middle school now. And I just noticed they just fenced off their playground as well. And I was like, okay.
No, it's a great thing.
We're ahead of the curve.
It is. It's a good thing.
Those were the couple things I had. Thank you, Jack.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I know when we walked with Martin Mallow back in July, that was top on our priority.
Good.
That roofs, windows, those were top on our priority.
Bring it back before the board. and
Yep.
Have you
Yeah,
decide what you wanna
absolutely.
do.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, Martin Mallow's planning to be
Yep.
here on September 3rd. They're gonna give us an assessment. I'm sure parking lots are definitely going to be
High
in
on
that
the
mix.
list, yes.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it was, I think that the people were under the impression that it was going to be fixed, fixed for good and not patched. And so I think
Yeah.
that's where some of the confusion is
Right.
from. And then I go look at it and I say, yeah, you're right.
No, it will be seal coated and restriped, you know, because we did patch it and that's all
Yeah.
we did was patch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will move forward on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions for, or any comments? Then I would entertain a motion to, I believe, adjourn.
I want to thank you for Martin Mallow.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
motion.
A motion by Mr. Mordarski. Do I have a support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Shufelt. Mordarski,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Shufelt.
Yes.
Westfall.
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Fields.
Yeah.
Moore is a yes. Passes 7-0. We are adjourned at 7:26. Thank you all.
Right.